Hi, welcome to the video. So today we'll be teaching this piece that I wrote, which is A Harmonic Minor Etude. Basically, it's an exercise that uses all of the seventh arpeggios and a few triads from the key of A Harmonic Minor, but I still try to make it sound like a lick and not just an exercise on it. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate first. You can download the tab on my Patreon page. Link is in the description. It's always open to the public and free. So here it is. Okay, so I basically started writing this one for my last video. And in my last video, I taught harmonized arpeggios for the key of C major and A harmonic minor and compared the differences between the two. So if you want to see what each of the arpeggios in the key of A harmonic minor are, you can get more into it with that video. I'll put a link up in the description. But basically what harmonic minor is doing compared to like the natural minor. So natural minor would be here. Harmonic minor would sharp this G note, or making the flat 7 into a major 7, which then when you play that creates a stronger resolution and a little bit of more tension to get back to that root. Now, when applied to arpeggios, it changes a few of the arpeggios. Some of them stay the same, so that A minor becomes A minor major 7. The C major 7 becomes a C major 7 sharp 5. The E minor 7 becomes an E dominant 7. And the G7 becomes a G sharp diminished 7. While the other three, the D minor 7, F major 7, and B minor 7 flat 5 stay the same if you're again comparing the A natural minor to the A harmonic minor. Okay, so go ahead and demonstrate it slowly now and kind of break it down. When you look at this, it includes fingerings. Sometimes we give a couple choices when I don't have a preference, but these are fingerings I'm using on here. Feel free to experiment with your own fingerings too. I also wrote the names of the arpeggios over top of them. I put some symbols with indicating when to speed up or slow down, but mostly listen to the piece and that will give you a better idea of that. But that way you just don't have to go back as often to it to kind of get the feel of it. I think it's really on this type of piece, the key is really in those details. And that's kind of true of all pieces, that those speed ups and slow downs, vibratos, sustains, all that stuff is what changes a song from just being okay to being better. So it gives them musicality. If you're just playing arpeggio completely even with speed and dynamics and stuff, there are times when I do that, but not too often, because most of the time I think it sounds too sterile and not musical. Now some of these you don't have to be very precise. Like when I'm doing this part, I'm not necessarily speeding up or slowing down with specific notes, but I'm basically about each octave trying to change it a little bit. So here's from the beginning. I start with the A note and then going right to the major 7th and sliding to that A note. I'm then stacking 2 power chords on top of each other, so just root 5th, root 5th. And then after I do that, I then add in the minor 3rd before hitting the major 7th and resolving back to that root. I jump up to the F, which is the beginning of my next arpeggio, which is a D minor. I'm just going down the regular triad. I'm rolling my finger. When I roll the finger, I'll put a link getting more detail on that with some exercises and licks. But basically, I'm doing it mostly from the wrist, where I'm rolling the finger this way, not doing much of the finger itself. That's mostly staying straight. So after I descend that arpeggio, I come back up. But before when I start to sing the next one, instead of going the same one into this D note, I go back to this D, and then I skip all the way down to the minor 7th to slide back into the root on that, making it into kind of an unusual fingering of a D minor 7. At that point, then I'm going to go to this E note, and this will be part of my A minor major 7. So I'm not starting on the root here. basically I'm doing, returning back to E each time, doing 3 notes and 4 notes and 5 notes before finishing on my A note. Now if you find that tough to do, a lot of times people have trouble changing directions and sweeping. I know I did when I was first started doing that, because you're used to just doing 5 or 6 string big sweeps. Isolate and just practice going back and forth on 3 notes, then add 4 notes or 5 notes or whatever groupings you want. And that's a good exercise just to get comfortable with the sweeping part. Always isolate parts that are hard for you. So once I get back to this A, then I'm going to jump forward. I come down to A minor major 7 again. Then I shift forward. Instead of going to C, go up here before ending on that A note again. At this point I'm going to go down F major 7. I reach back for the 3rd here instead of going forward here, which a lot of times I do that, but this just sets you up better for the next arpeggio. So I'm always looking at what's coming up next and where I'm coming from when I decide fingerings. So I'm going up this E7, then down the G sharp diminished 7. At that point, when I end on this G sharp, I then slide forward to my A note, doing kind of a repeated theme of going to that 5th again, and then outlining the A minor major 7 before switching to D minor 7. And then going to G sharp diminished 7. When you're going down this, start slowing it down. And this part right here, that's a B minor 7 flat 5. I hit that G sharp to get me back to A again. Go through it 2 times. The second time, instead of coming up the A minor, I use this note in common, the C note, to go into my D minor 7. Oftentimes, if 2 arpeggios share the same note in common, I'll use that as a way to pivot from one to another. So here I'm doing the same thing. When I come down to the D minor 7, I change directions, come up to this F note, and switch to my F major. So it's kind of going A minor, D minor 7, F major. And then this next part's a little tricky. I go F major, and then I just go down a half step here and do the same shape. And that's in key. It's going to my C major 7 sharp 5. At that point I do that a little bit slower, then I start speeding up again at this point before I go through the whole C major 7 sharp 5 5th string root fingering. At this point, because my first finger is here, I'm going to reach up with my 2nd finger. Now because I want to shift forward, I'm not going to reach with my pinky. I'm going to jump forward to my 3rd finger. That puts me in position to play this next note. And same thing here, I don't use my pinky here because I want to shift. So I use the 3rd finger again. Doing the same G sharp to A slide, and the 5th. Then go down to the 4th this time. So this is actually going to be A major 7 sus 4. So it doesn't have the minor or major 3rd in it. Instead it's as a 4th here, jump up to A note, then the G sharp, and then the 4th again, or D note. So you get that, which is still just arpeggio, but by breaking up like that, it sounds a little more intervallic and to me a little bit more interesting. I go as E notes to sing that a little bit before getting into my kind of big jump here, my E7. Now be careful because you might want to jump right back into that F major that you played earlier, which came from the same E note also. So there you again have some direction changes within that E7 just to create a little bit more anticipation than if I just went straight through it before I finally resolve on that A note. So if there's any questions on any of this, leave a comment and I will definitely answer them. Otherwise, I'd appreciate leaving comments anyways, even if it's just a thumbs up if you like it, and then also make sure you like it. A lot of times people forget to, when they leave a comment, to also like the video. But both those help me get more views. So you can check out the tab. Don't worry about playing the whole thing. Try playing just pieces of it. And if there's a specific arpeggio you think is kind of cool, just pull that out. And even if that's the only thing you learn from it, then that was still worthwhile on it. Or if you like a specific combination of 2 arpeggios together, and then make up your own things. The key is I'm just trying to inspire you guys to create more variety within your playing. Thanks for watching.